know you weren't expecting to hear from me so soon already, but I want to do a follow-up from our talk on Tuesday. And today I want to discuss with us the idea or the thought that wit's end doesn't have to be the end. Wit's end. And I think most of us understand what that means, is that when we get to that break point, I'm at my wit's end. You know, it's an all too common refrain. Leave me alone. Stay out of my business. I can make it. I can do whatever I have to do. You know, this is a generation of people that has individually become an island unto themselves, wanting no help, not even wanting to help, in spite of us needing all the help that we can get. And that million-dollar question is, why? Why? We keep on asking that question of why, but it's always directed at someone other than ourselves, or at something other than that over which we have jurisdiction. If it's not our program, it's not our plan, we're always looking outwardly at everybody else and everything else. And so we ask why. We don't bother to stop and take a look in the mirror and look at ourselves and ask ourselves why. It's always something else. It's always somebody else. Again, anything that we have nothing to do with. We say, why did they? We say, what made him? Or why did she choose to do that? We look at all of this. We say, even what's wrong with the world? And we talk about there's some sick folk in this world. This world is crazy. The questions are hardly ever directed at ourselves. We seek answers, but never from within. We seek answers, but never consider that the answer may be with us, or the answer may be within us. It may be in our attitude, it may be in our behavior, or it may be in our view of the world, our view of people. We may have answered even our own question of why. It could be, do you mind if I give you a few thoughts on that? It could be, at least in part, my friend, it could be because so many of us think that I think I can handle it myself. I got this. And we always want to be at that level. All of us, we want to be able to say, I got it. Because we don't want to ask for help. We don't even want help. We don't even want anybody to think that we need help. We think that, got this thought now, this individualistic thought, I can handle it myself. That I got it. But let me tell you, my friend, I thank God for help. I said I thank God for help because I don't always got it. I can't always handle it myself. There's too much there for me to try to deal with by myself. Why? We keep asking that question, why? And we may be answering it ourselves because it could be happening, all this happening around us because I'm not involved. Because I am not involved. Because I don't even want to get involved. I don't want to get involved. I'm not, no, leave me alone. Again, you remember what we talked about? Mind my own business. You mind yours, I mind mine. Are you hearing me? It could be because we're not involved and we don't even want to get involved. It could be that we think that being involved or getting involved is just too exhausting. And if that's your answer, do you mind if I go ahead and tell you, yay, you're absolutely right. It is exhausting. And I believe somebody once said that anything worthwhile takes effort. It takes work. Getting involved can certainly be exhausting, but it's well worth the effort. It can be exhausting. Not only that, as we answer our question of why, it could be that we take the view that getting involved is just too expensive. It costs too much. It costs us too much. It costs us time and energy and effort and resources. And again, you're absolutely right. It can be getting involved can be an expensive venture. But again, it's worth it. It's worth every dime. It's worth every minute. It's worth every second. It is worth every ounce of energy that you can muster, my friend. Because we need help. We need help. And it falls to you and to me to help. So as we look at this whole idea, why? It could be because my help is always rejected or it goes unappreciated. Can I make a quick confession right there? There have been times, I've always, I mean, as far back as I can remember, as far as my adult life, always enjoyed helping. Worked with children basically all my adult life, and help people. I love helping. But I got to tell you, there have been times that I had thoughts of backing away. And really, the truth is, to some extent, I have. I had the thought of backing away, backing down, because listen, it seemed like nobody appreciated my efforts. That's frustrating. I mean, you know, we as preachers, we kind of go through that all the time. You preach, teach. And folk act like they ever heard a word sometimes. And yes, it feels sometimes like your efforts go unnoticed or unappreciated. I agree. But again, I have to say, it's still well worth it. Amen. And it could be the other question of why? Because I don't want to be inconvenienced. I don't want to be made uncomfortable. And when I get involved, it messes up my schedule. It interferes with my rest and relaxation. It interferes with my recreation. So it's inconvenient. Absolutely. Listen, there are some things that we have to give up, that we have to sacrifice in order to make this a better world. We have to give it up. We cannot be selfish and self-centered and allow this world to continue the route that it's taking. Are you hearing me? Could be because I don't want anybody in my business. That's where we are. I don't want anybody in my business. I understand that because I am personally very protective of my personal life. That's just the way it is. That does not prevent me from getting involved. But I got you. Sometimes we just feel like, I don't want anybody in my business. I don't want anybody to know what's going on with me. It's not that it's anything big. Most of the time it isn't. That's why I don't understand these folks. They got all this top secret business. You know, life is just life. You know, it's not that serious. But yeah, we take that attitude sometimes. I don't want anybody in my business. Fine. That's like saying I don't want any help. Or it could be, I don't want anybody knowing my business. I don't want anybody knowing my hurts. I would receive the help, but I don't want anybody to know I need help. I don't want anybody to know my pain, my vulnerability. I don't want them to know my weaknesses. But let me tell you something, my friend, whether you realize it or not, people around you know that something is going on with you. They know that something is not right. Many of them stand ready, and they are there, they are available, they are capable of helping you if you would allow them to help you. That's the only way we're going to stop the madness in this world, is we've got to help one another. We got to go to the aid, to the rescue of those who are suffering depression and discouragement and sadness and grief, whatever that case might be. We got to reach out to them. We have to embrace them. We have to reassure them. We have to encourage them, my friend. Yes, we have to do that. If we're going to make this world a better place for all of us, then we've got to get involved with what's going on. You know, and sometimes we don't get involved because it's like none of their business what I'm doing. You know, none of their business what I'm going through. Or it could be I'm too busy. I'm too busy to help or to get involved. I'm just too busy for that. And yes, I understand that. I mean, my schedule is full. I got ministry time, church time, family time. My time is busy. But that does not stop me from getting involved. Doesn't stop me from standing up and speaking up and helping wherever I can. Now, my primary way of helping people is through what I say, talk. And sometimes you hear me or you hear other people talk about, we just can't talk all the time. We got to do something. But this is what I do, is talk. I teach. I preach. I encourage through the words that God gives me. I inspire people. At least that's my attempt. I inspire people. I influence people. That's where I help. That's my business. That's what I do. But there are other ways that we can get involved, and there are other ways that I get involved. Are you hearing me? So no matter what you're doing, no matter what your career is, no matter what your occupation is, my friend, make the time, take the time to help somebody else. Take the time to get involved, because involvement, hear me now, involvement is an investment. I just said a mouthful and you ain't moved. You didn't even blink an eye. Involvement is an investment. It is an investment in our children. It is an investment in our society. It is an investment in our families. It is an investment in our government. It is an investment in our churches. Are you hearing me? And then the question of why, it could be because we are saying, wait a minute, I'm catching hell myself. I don't have time to fool with y'all. I'm trying to make it myself. Aren't we all? But I guarantee you, we'll do better if we work together. Yes, yes. And then, there are those, again, got that attitude, I mind my own business and I stay in my lane and, y'all stay in y'all. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why we're at this point where we keep asking the question of why. Let me tell you something, my friend. People are jacked up, tore up from the floor up. But we dare not admit it. We dare not ask for help. We dare not allow anyone to help us. Some are denying it, but some are well aware of their dilemma and are doing all they can to survive. Please hear me, my friend. There are those out there, they are in denial. They refuse to acknowledge what they're going through. They refuse to acknowledge that they are catching hell. They refuse to acknowledge that they are in trouble. They refuse to acknowledge that they need help. But there are others, hallelujah, there are others, my friend, who are doing all they can to survive and just make it from 1 minute to the next. They ain't no shame in their game. They don't care who knows that they're catching hell. They don't care. They don't care that you see their head nappy, their clothes raggedy, nose run. They don't care about all that. They don't care about those who are walking around trying to be all of that in a bag of chips. They don't care anything about all of those who are out there trying to become celebrities. They're not into that. They're not trying to be this and almighty that. They're not trying to do that. These are people who are simply trying to make it from day to day. These, my friend, are people who, unfortunately, as a songwriter once said, some guys just give up on living and start dying little by little and piece by piece. No. Not everybody's trying to be the life of the party. Not everybody's trying to excel above them all. Not everybody's trying to be out front or be on top. Not everybody's trying to become a mover and a shaker. Some people, my friend, are simply trying to live. Simply trying to eke out a living, putting one foot in front of another. They get up every day with the goal of living, surviving, and just holding on. And because of the pressures of the world, many are at their wits' end. Done. Through. Now come on in. Let's explore the thought that wits' end doesn't have to be the end. Well, I'm going to skip the usual greetings that we do on Tuesday and jump right in with both feet. You say you already did. Yeah, I know. I know, my friend. I understand. I feel you. But let me ask you something, my friend. How can there be a raging fire and nobody sees the flames? How can there be a raging fire and nobody smells the smoke? Nobody feels the heat? And I think that's the best description that I can come up with to describe what I'm seeing in our society today. We go on with our lives as though nothing is happening, seeing nothing, sensing nothing, feeling nothing, while society burns like hell. How is it that right next door, right in our homes, right down the street, right in our community, right in our state, right in our nation, raging fires, but nobody sees the flames. Nobody smells the smoke. Nobody feels the heat. So we go on. We go on like nothing is happening. We go on like everything is all right. We go on like we don't need to respond to anything. We go on like we're living large and everything is well. And while attempting, my friend, while attempting to answer the question of why, the effect of the pressures of life and the pressures of this world cannot be overlooked. It's a real problem, and it affects real people, and it causes real problems. Pressures come in many ways and forms and for many reasons, and it affects us in different ways. Any negative or threatening emotion causes pressure, and it can cause us to panic. Embarrassment is pressure. When someone bullies you, disrespects you, embarrasses you, the pressure mounts. How am I going to respond? What do I do? When we fail, failure is pressure. Because then, let me go to the next one. Not only do you have failure, and one of the reasons that failure causes us pressure, brings pressure to bear on our lives, is because of the expectations of ourselves and the expectations of others of us. So we've let them down. We've let ourselves down. We've let our parents down. We've let our children down. We've let our spouse down. We've let our country down, whatever the case is. And so because of those expectations, now we have that sense of failure, and it brings pressure. There's that pressure to recover. There's that pressure to perform. There's that pressure to disguise our failures. These are some of the reasons, my friend, why we are under so much pressure. What about rejection? When people reject us, what about that pressure? Fear. People act out against others because of fear. People commit suicide out of fear when they see no way out and no way through. Hate is pressure. That hating is a job. Hating someone puts pressure on you. When you hate somebody, even the pressure of saying, I hate them, so I don't want to seem like I like them. I don't want to seem like I agree with them. That's pressure, my friend. Hatred brings pressure on us to bear. Let me tell you something else, my friend, that we need to be aware of and we need to watch out for. Turbulent and toxic relationships brings tremendous pressure to bear upon us. Did you hear me, my friend? Turbulent, toxic relationships causes unbearable pressure upon us. That's why we need to get it straight. Yes, that's why we need to resolve whatever differences we have. We need to fix whatever problems we have. We need to get our relationships in order. Stop going through the same madness over and over and over again. It brings that tremendous pressure upon us. And we can snap in a time. We can vent in a time on some innocent person, someone who had absolutely nothing to do with our situation. Are you hearing me, my friend? I'm trying to help you to understand something, my friend. And that is, wit's end does not have to be the end. Help is available. Help is there. But you got to realize you need help. You have to get to the point where you will accept help. And then you also have to be available to help others. What about experiences and events that can cause a great deal of pressure? That's just life. When love hurts, there's enormous pressure. You break up, pressure. Then there's the regular routine, although it's far from regular, far from routine, issues of life, making a living, raising a family, our health and our well-being, holding a job, dealing with school. We have to experience sickness and listen, disease, and just the usual challenges of life and the usual challenges to life, my friend. Sickness, disease, death, mistreatment, mistrust. Listen, my friend. And then as we look at all of these things, this combination of seesaw, merry-go-round, roller coaster, up and down, all around, running full speed simultaneously is more than one can bear. Are you hearing me? Much of what we're seeing is the result of something happening on the inside, something happening within us. It's our way of venting when we explode. It's an explosion taking place. All of this going on, life can be, and life often is, a pressure cooker. You know, some describe it sometimes as a long, hot summer. Long, hot summer. Now listen, my friend, all of that going on, all of this that we have to deal with, all that life throws our way, all of that. Let me ask you a question. I'm asking us the question. What makes us think we can handle all of that by ourselves? This is why we see the government, the school, the churches, community organizations searching for ways to redirect the energy of our children and of our people and how to redirect our aggression. And here's the thought behind that, is that when we offer a different outlet, when we offer a different way of venting, a different way of expressing ourselves, the belief is that if we offer a different outlet, people will give a different response. And a different response will often, likely, hopefully, produce a different outcome. That's why, we have summer programs. That's why they come up with basketball to keep people off the street, to help keep our young people out of gangs and keep them away from gang activity. You have to realize something. People are going to do something. But what you and I need to do is try to help them choose that which is healthy, that which is wholesome, that which is good for their life, and stay away from that which is evil and that which is bad. And that's what we try to do. We try to offer them an alternative. That's what we try to do, because we believe that a different outlet will bring a different response, and a different response will bring a different outcome. But what if people won't let you help? What if people won't let us help them? What if they withdraw and refuse to open up to deliverance? Because oftentimes, my friend, we want to give the appearance of strength. We want to give the appearance of doing well. We want to appear invulnerable and invincible. You can't hurt me. And we want to give the appearance of independence because we fear appearing to be even human. We brag about how super we are, how strong we are. And the truth is, many of us are one step from disaster. And it's all we can do to hold it together. We are at our wits' end. But thank God, wits' end doesn't have to be the end. When pressures come, when threats come, fighting back is normal. Attempting to escape is normal. But our aggression is released in the wrong direction, to the wrong persons. We aren't fighting the real enemy or addressing the real problems. That's our problem, my friend. It's nothing new that we fight back. It's nothing new that we lash out, so to speak. I mean, when you look around at all the nonsense we've had to deal with, especially for the last few years, but it's really, anytime, that's just life. But all the nonsense we've had to deal with, all the lies, all the mixed messages, all the, terrible, all this foolishness, the pandemic, all the deaths, all the sickness, all the loss of jobs, loss of income, now the high prices everywhere, shortages, all of that. Listen, my friend, pressure always prompts a response. Fear makes us either surrender or fear makes us fight. But we got to fight the right fight. I've already talked to you about fighting. We got to fight the right persons, the right thing. Life cannot be lived alone. It was never meant to be lived alone. You need me and I need you. And some of these stay out of my business folk may someday wish somebody was interested in them enough to get in their business. I don't know where we get this top secret, my business. I don't know where we get that from. That just through the course of conversation, nobody can talk to us. Nobody can ask us a question or attempt to help us. Stay out of my business. That's my business. If your business is that vulnerable, then surely you need someone to jump in and help you through it. The pressure is making families turn against family, spouses turn against spouses, children turning against their parents and against one another. And children want to tell, leave me alone and stay out of my business. You ain't got no business. And let me tell you something, my friend. You ought to be careful about what you allow to come out of your mouth. You ought to be careful about what you allow to come out of your mouth. When you start disrespecting your parents, I hate you. I don't want you talking to me. I don't want to be about, just leave me alone and stay out of my business. Let me tell you something, my friend. You be careful about what you allow to come out of your mouth. You be careful about the attitude that you allow to permeate and take over your life, my friend. Because let me tell you something. One of these days, you might wish you had a mother to get in your business. You might wish you had a father to get in your business. You might wish you had someone that cares and loves you enough and concerned enough about you to get in your business. Be careful of what you allow to come out of your mouth. Be careful of your attitude. Then we have men and women thinking they're so important and they got it all together. They got it together so well that they don't need anybody else. And they're all up there. They can't even talk to anybody. And nobody dare approach them. One day, my friend, one day, you may find yourself wishing that somebody cared enough to call, that somebody cared enough to inquire, that somebody cared enough to give you a second thought. If your business is that top secret, we may need to ask, what exactly is your business? I admit, some business is off limits. Some things are just for you, not for us, just for you. We're not talking about anybody being nosy or interfering with your so-called private affairs. We're talking about trying to help. We're talking about the fact that we love you, that we care about you, that we are concerned about you, that we see a need to intervene. We see a need to get involved. But people are so on edge. People are at their wits' end. And they're really like a ticking time bomb. They are subject to explode any time. What makes us explode? What makes us crack? What makes us go against everything we were ever taught or trained to do? Everything we ever stood for? What makes that happen? What makes sense turns to nonsense? What is it that we can so easily be pushed over the edge? Well, let me just give you a couple of things as I draw to a close. It's sometimes we take the attitude of never. That can never happen to me, or that never will happen to me. I never can do that, or I never will do that. Whether we're talking negatively or whether we're speaking positively, you know what the saying is, never say never. But then there's another side to that. It's saying always. These kind of things always happen to me. I'm always at the back. I'm always at the bottom. Or you can be on the positive side. I'm always blessed. Listen, my friend, you cannot say never and you cannot say always. All of us experience trials and tribulations sometimes. Are you hearing me? Then, my friend, listen, there's a lack of self-control. We cannot act on everything that we think up. We cannot act on everything that we feel like acting on. Even when we are provoked, we have to be able to hold our hope. We have to be able to control ourselves. We must have self-control, my friend. We must have self-control. We've got to control ourselves. And that simply means that we are led and we're controlled by the Holy Spirit. We lack restraint. We lack restraint. We have to restrain ourselves. We are going to be tempted in one way or another. We are going to be pushed in one way or another. There are some people that just seem to know our button, and when they push it, boom, we get mad. We go crazy. We explode because we are lacking restraint. We need that hold me power, and God will do it. We need that hold me power. We need to exercise restraint. Listen, let me tell you, this might bust your little bubble, but you can't have everything you want. You can't have everything that looks good, smells good, tastes good. You can't respond to every situation. You can't. You cannot yield to temptation, whatever that temptation is trying to lure you into doing. We got to have restraint, and we have to exercise restraint. Then there's a lack of respect. Lack of respect for life, lack of respect for people, lack of respect for authority, lack of respect for our fellow human beings. There's a lack of respect. Are you hearing me, my friend? We just don't respect each other. We don't respect each other. We don't consider one another. We're so into ourselves that we don't even consider one another. Then there's the lack of knowledge. There's a lack of experience. There's a lack of ability to fight your way through. You just may not have what it takes. Listen, my friend, there are some people who just are not fit for the fight. They're not fit for the fight. They're not up to it. They just aren't. Many of us, I grew up fighting, so fighting is not strange to me. As a matter of fact, I have to exercise some of that, what I just talked about, restraint, to keep from fighting sometimes. But that's not strange to me. Struggling is not strange to me, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Listen, challenges are no stranger to me. But simply, my friend, not everybody's built like us. Not everybody have had the same upbringing that we had. Not everybody was exposed to the same things that we were. So some people are just not, this is not to put them down. That doesn't mean they're inferior to us. They were just not trained that way, not taught that way, did not experience those things. They didn't, unlike me, they didn't grow up fighting. So they're not fit for the fight. They buckle at the least bit of pressure. That's why you need us. That's why we need each other. That's why you need God. Because you by yourself, the truth is, none of us by ourselves are fit for the fight. Amen. Let's clear that up. None of us. No matter what kind of experience we have. None of us, no matter what our upbringing was. None of us. We need God. And we need one another. Are you hearing me, my friend? We need each other. I need to help, and you need to help. And we need help. You need help. I need help. And we need to help. And then, as I was mentioning a moment ago, then there are those who have, for the most part, during their growing up, during their experiences, have never experienced struggles, never experienced too much of a challenge. The parents were always there. Somebody was always there to bail them out. They never had to suffer for their decisions. They never had to suffer the consequences of their actions. They've never been faced with poverty. They've never been faced with hunger. They've never been faced with homelessness. They've never been faced with joblessness. It seems like all of their life, whatever it's been, whether they're 10 years old, 20 years old, 50 years old, it just seems like everything has always gone their way. That's not the way it is with some of us. And so therefore, there are those that can't stand up to pressure because they have never experienced that kind of pressure. Are you hearing me, my friend? And then one of our major problems, maybe the major problem. We know the major problem. Folk who don't have Jesus. Listen, but we lack. Hear me, please. We lack morality and religion. Now, I could have said Christianity, but I am a Christian. I firmly believe in Christianity, but I also believe that in a religion that stands for good, that stands for morality, I think whatever you're part of, that can keep you, that can hold you. Now, I certainly believe there's only one God. I'm talking about religion right now. I ain't talking about God. Because you can belong to a fraternity that'll help keep you straight. You can belong to a sorority that can help you walk the straight and narrow. You can belong to a social club that can make sure that you restrain yourself. You understand what I'm saying? So before you start trying to stone me, get some understanding, okay? All right? But so many people lack morality. Nothing matters to them. Anything goes. No morality and no religion, my friend. While we're asking why, we need to talk about all of these things. Which end is not the end. It doesn't have to be the end. Make sure you have a then. We talked about it, what was it, last week when we were looking at Psalm 107. Make sure that you have a then. Because in that scripture, it says that they had been tossed to and fro and they were in distress. But then it says, but then, they had a then. But then they cried unto the Lord, and he delivered them all out of all their distresses, out of all their troubles. Then, make sure, my friend, that when you reach your wit's end, that you have a then. Are you hearing me, my friend? 3 or 4 things real quick. I'm on my way out the door. 3 or 4 things real quick. Look to the Lord. In all of your troubles, look to the Lord. Look to the Lord. Look to the Lord. Call on God. God will hear and answer your prayers. Look to God. First and foremost, look towards heaven and say, Lord, remember what Peter said? Lord, save me. Whatever you're experiencing, when you have that feeling that you want to lash out at somebody, that you want to commit some kind of violent act, that you want to hurt someone, that you want to kill someone, even yourself. Lord, save me. Look unto the hills from which cometh our help. Lord, save me. And then, my friend, I want to encourage you to look deep within yourself. Look deep within yourself. There's so much good there within you. There's so much good there. There's so many answers there. There's so many ways there that you can be helped. Look deep within yourself and ask yourself, what kind of person am I really? Do I really want to do this? Do I really want to go this route? Is this really what defines me as a person? And then, my friend, look beyond yourself. Not only look toward the Lord, look to God, look deep within yourself, but look beyond yourself and welcome whatever help that is capable, that is available, and that is willing to help. Look to the Lord, look within, look beyond yourself. Now get on out there and handle your business with your important self.